Good morning, comic fam. Welcome to Comics of the Voice. Today, we're going to get into some Gauntlet action. Stay tuned. Welcome, I'm the Voice, and today we're going to talk about the Infinity Gauntlet, because this is a really cool series. I got a t-shirt that goes with the books, and it's George Perez goodness, right? I mean, look at that, George Perez. I mean, Jim Starlin did the writing for it, but good old Mr. Perez did some fantastic artwork for this. So this is a 6-issue maxi series. I guess you call it a maxi series, mini series, whatever. And Marvel did a couple of movies based on this kind of stuff, right? And people have talked about this and hashed it out. And there was actually a video that was done a number of years ago that the person sat down and they actually went through the entire comic books, all of them. I also got this too, just so I don't have to open up the comic books anymore. So I'm just going to talk about my take on this whole thing. So, issue 1. We all seen the movies, and the movies are completely different than what happened in the comic books. It's actually only really 2 scenes in the Infinity War and Endgame that were similar to the books. And that one was when Hulk was launched across the universe from Hemdall and ended up in the Sanctum Sanctorum, and Doctor Strange, when he blasted through the stairs and he said, "Oh, Thanos is coming." So that was in here, but it was Silver Surfer that came to Earth to warn, not the Hulk. So it was a little bit different, right? Just trying to find the page here so you can see. There he is, Silver Surfer, blasting through to warn them that Thanos is coming. He's got the Infinity Stones and he's going to do unspeakable things. So all this really started with Lady Death. It's all her fault that all this began in the first place. So she had seen in the universe that the amount of people that had died were less than the amount of people that were living today in the universe, and it was unbalanced. So she didn't like that. She wanted to rebalance everything. So she brought Thanos back from the dead because he'd been killed off in the Infinity Wars. And she gave him powers and set him on a course looking for these stones and the gauntlet to basically become omnipotent and wipe out half the universe and restore the balance that she wanted to see. But of course, a whole bunch of other crap happened while this was going on, right? Because Thanos was madly in love with Death and wanted to woo her and win her over, and pretty much everything he did didn't work out for him. So I wanted to correct it. So, and then there was this demon, Mephisto. Everybody loves Mephisto. He was whispering little seductions in Thanos' ear throughout the entire series of books, because obviously he wanted to have the power too. Like, everybody thirsted for this power. And when he got these stones, he was like the most powerful being in the world. So the superheroes were busy trying to figure out, oh God, now what are we going to do with this guy? He's got the stones and he's going to wipe out half an existence. And he did that, and it caused all kinds of wonderful chaos. So this one came out in 1991, and it was titled God, because that's basically what Thanos had become. Then we have issue 2. And I'm just going to kind of talk about what each one is. And yeah, I've got notes because I made some notes because there's some stuff going on here. So issue 2, this one came out in August of 91. It was called From Bad to Worse, right? So now all hell's broken loose. War is breaking out among all the survivors and across the universe. Thanos he's now omnipotent. So what's he do? He goes and grabs his brother after he erased his father from existence, and he grabbed his brother Eros, brought him to this little temple thing that he built out in space. and immediately started torturing him. He also had Nebula too, which in the comic books is his granddaughter, and he's torturing them. So that's fun. And that was basically book number 2. Now number 3, this one came out in September of 91, so they were just month after month. You had to wait a month for each book to come out. And in this one here, this one's called Preparations for War. So now Mephisto keeps whispering praises of how great Thanos is. Adam Warlock is now in the picture, and he's creating a strike team because he's already seen the future. He knows what's going to happen, so he's putting all these pieces into place so that it'll all happen. Kind of like in the movies with Doctor Strange when he was using the Time Stone and he was trying to figure out which one they won in. Basically, Adam Warlock already knew how he was going to win and get the gauntlet at the end. Oh, spoiler alert! He gets the gauntlet. Yes. So the strike team of superheroes, they're dealing with all the disasters on Earth and problems. And then Adam Warlock goes to talk to the astral deities and gets them all in line. So he's just basically putting all the pieces in the puzzle ready to go after Thanos. And of course, the biggest entity that has the most concern is Eternity. So Eternity is worried that he wants to usurp him and basically be the center of everything in the universe. And he's not wrong. That's what Thanos wants. And then, of course, Death spurns him so much, and he's just sick and tired of it, so he decides to create his own female version of himself. Fembot. And he calls her Taraxia the Terrible. And he's trying to make Death jealous, and it doesn't work. And, of course, the battle begins, and the first wave moves in at the end of this one to start the battle. And I like this cover. This cover is just so cool. Just Thanos there, like, come and get me. Come at me and see what happens. Just ready for all kinds of carnage and action to happen. So this one is called Cosmic Battle on the Edge of the Universe, and it was published in October of 91. So Thanos basically stopped time at the beginning of this one and was ready to wipe everybody out, including Adam Warlock and Silver Surfer, who are kind of way out in space, just kind of watching the action. And he's like, yeah, I better kill them too. And Mephisto, of all people, demons, steps in and says, no, maybe what you should do here is to impress Death, is to have an act of courage or strength and defeat these guys without your omnipotent power. So he goes, you know what? Okay, sure. So he strips himself of his power and he gives them a 0.5% chance of victory, which and of course he turns time back on. He just doesn't know when they're going to attack, and they start attacking him, and he easily kills everybody. Taraxia, she ends up ripping Tony Stark's head right off and brings it to him and says, yeah, look what I got. You know, she tore the Metal Man's head off. That was wonderful, and everybody basically gets wiped out. And then the second wave comes in, which is the astral deities. So then it's their turn to try and fight after he's killed everybody. So all the superheroes of Earth are all dead, or most of them are dead. And then the Celestials start to show up. This one was issue 5. It was published in November of 91. And it's called the Astral Conflagration. See, words are hard. Conflagration. Sure, that's what it sounds like. You guys can say it in the comments, but I won't. It'll just be the same word. So maybe I pronounced it right, maybe I pronounced it wrong. I don't know. So anyway, Thanos unleashes his full power against these guys because they're cosmic entity beings. There's a whole bunch of them to watch. Well, actually, the Watchers stepped aside, and he's just watching the whole action happening. And Death ended up saving Euros and Nebula because they were about to get wiped out when Thanos unleashed his full power against all these entities, right? And she saved them. Then Mephisto, in this chaos, as he's fighting, so Thanos is fighting like each one of these entities one at a time, so he starts fighting Mistress Love and Sire Hate. Mephisto tries to take the gauntlet off of Thanos, and that didn't work. And Thanos basically kills him off. And then the very last fight is against Eternity. So for Thanos to fight Eternity, he basically goes incorporeal and leaves his body. And meanwhile, this whole time, Death, she brings Nebula and Eros back to where Thanos' body is. And the Taraxia chick there, she isn't really watching because she figures, okay, Nebula's just this zombie, half-dead thing. But of course, when he's not watching and everybody's not watching, Nebula just walks over and pops off the gauntlet, puts it on, and then she becomes omnipotent, and Thanos goes right back into his body, and she immediately starts torturing and sends him off to the heroes to get basically attacked and all that fun stuff. And that's how they bring this one to an end. Then now all the heroes, you know, are together and they're going, oh crap, now Nebula's got the bloody glove. And now she's omnipotent and she's insane. So what the hell are we going to do now? So now they got to fight her. So Thanos joins the team and they go back and they try to get her. So this is issue 6. This came out December of 91 and it's called Final Confrontation. See, I knew that word. That's, yeah, words. So Nebula imprisons Thanos and reverses everything she did, or he did. And then she does it like 24 hours before, which turns her back into a zombie thing, and she almost loses the bloody glove again. But she regains control of it, and then everybody's trying to attack her. And somehow, I can't remember if Adam Warlock, she sends him into the Soul Gem, or he just goes back to the Soul Gem, because he's got like immense power in there. So he goes into the Soul Gem, and he starts building his power, and I guess he could have done this all along. He disrupts all of the other stones. He controls the Soul Stone to tell the other stones to start getting all disrupted, and then the glove just basically falls off of Nebula, and then it's a mad scrambles. And everybody's going frickin' apeshit over this, trying to get the glove, and they're all beating each other. Like Drax has got Hulk in a death lock, and everyone's scrambling, you know, Doom, everybody wants this bloody glove. And of course, Adam Warlock, he gets it, and he goes, enough of this crap. And then that's the end of the whole fight. He goes, you know, I have the glove, I have the gauntlet, I have the Infinity Stones, they are mine by right, by possession, I got them, so toughy lucky ducky. And then he just basically convinces everybody that he's going to be a benevolent god. And that's the end of it. So, now of course, people turn on Thanos, and Thanos pretends to blow himself up. And he transports himself to that garden planet, and basically has his uniform on the Scarecrow like we saw in the movie. And he's just got a simple life there. So, Adam Warlock shows up there and just basically asks his advice on what it's like to be a god. And then that's the end of it. And Thanos gets away scot-free, no problems, and everybody lives happily ever after. So that's my take, the basics of Infinity Gauntlet. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you on the next one.